Okay, I am back. Let me shut that one and get back on my Facebook. See, I've already posted the first two. Aggressive behavior. Alright. I tried to get along with this person, I really did. I'm not exactly socially backwards, okay? I'm not saying I don't make mistakes. I make mistakes. I'm a human being. Maybe not too proud of that, but human's what I am. The aggressiveness demonstrated toward me, I'm pretty sure, was not demonstrated to her dad. Because you've got to keep in mind, when he'd wake up from his medication-induced stupor and sleep, mainly it was sleep, like 18 hours a day. I kid you not. And I'd go to tell him these things that I had been through while he slept. And he liked to sleep on the couch in the day. And then we'd go to our room at night. But he would say, oh, it's all in your head. You're territorial. You're female and you feel threatened because there's another female around. And I was like, what, huh? You're kidding me, right? It wasn't that. He had that all wrong. It was a different kind of threatened, okay? It wasn't verbal threat. Well, that one was. Kind of. Where she said her mother had instructed her to put a wedge between her dad and I. I guess that could kind of be construed as a threat. But not in the way he meant. I know what way he meant. And I was kind of mad at him for all that. It's in my head, are you kidding me? So I know what people go through in that regard. People kind of condemning them for having an off-the-wall thought. My thought on it was totally opposite of what he thought of it. She was giving him a totally different opinion of herself during the time he slept. She painted herself like the poor little, kind of like Cinderella. The commune had no electricity, no indoor plumbing. And here she comes to town where she's got it all at her fingertips, including a telephone, okay, her own room, all kinds of food, because shopping's one of the things John Myers and myself did best. We would go up to Whiteman and we would hit that BX, we would hit that commissary, and we would bring back so much food and stuff. I think at the time it was food. We were more worried about making sure there was always enough food for everyone to be happy and not do without, because we knew what they had been brought up as at the commune, and that was if you mess up, you're going to lose a portion of your food. And we made darn good sure that there was ample food. Always served meat at the meals, you know. Bought them specialty items to stick in their lunch bags for school lunches. Okay. She was aggressive to me, and that didn't start showing up until like January of 95. But she had been aggressive in other ways, and even my mother was picking up on it. For instance, um, Mom saying that she had smacked Bradley in the head, on the head, a number of times. Because she was taller, and I could see that happening, that maybe she would just want to pound little Bradley into the ground from the top down. You know, kind of hateful, kind of spiteful of her to do such things. And then another thing was when she had tried to push me down the stairs right before her exit therapy had begun. Um, and I was steadied by John behind me. We were all going up for the night after the part of the news. We didn't watch the whole thing. We'd end it right after, I guess, the first section. Didn't go on into the sports. And she just happened to be in front of us. And there was a light at the bottom of the stairs and a light at the top. So that when we get up there after we were safely up the stairs, we could hit the switch. But I would normally either go during the evening on into my room, our room, and turn a little bedside lamp on, or the one on my dresser, so that it wasn't totally dark up there when we got up there. You know, either have it on for a little while before going up, or last time I went to the bathroom and it was dark, so I'll just leave the light on so when we come back up, I don't have to fumble for it, you know, that kind of thing. But I went on up after I gathered myself. Well, first I told her to turn the light back on. She had turned the light off. You get that light back on. That really upset me because she turned the light off and then ran into her room and slammed the door. So see, this night, on this occasion, her dad was seeing her for how I had seen her for quite a while, and he just never saw her the same way as I, and was saying, oh, it's all in your head, it's all in your head. Well, now, see, the tables had turned, which tables sometimes luckily will do. You know, I have another instance of that I won't go into right now concerning my son and my mother, but for that evening, he was seeing her how I had said all along she was acting out. And we got on up the top of the stairs, he and I pounded on her door. I said, you open this door. And I shoved her. She had a very small room. It was maybe 3-4 yards across from the door to the back of the room. And of course her bed took up a little over a yard of that. So when I shoved her, it was like she only took a couple of big steps back and then sat down hard on her bed. I said something to the effect of, you ever touch me like that again, and I don't care if you end up going home to your mother in a box, which now seems kind of rough, but it was a rough situation she had put me through, you know? I could have very nearly have died on those steps. You know, it was a thoughtless thing for her to do. But the upside was her dad saw it. It was no longer in my head. He now had the proof that he needed to become a believer. And for that, I am very grateful. So then, shortly after that, her therapy started. And I was asked what I wanted to see come from the sessions. Because, like, the first initial session, maybe the second one after that, I believe it was just that one, we were asked to attend. So, of course, we did. And when she asked me what I wanted to see come from him, I said, I would like to see her not lie anymore because she was lying. And the therapist kind of looked down on me at that point. And it was like, oh, surely not. And mine's just so unbelievable, I realize. But it's real. That's what that's what people are learning now, that they believe is a tactic to discredit someone, to make them seem nuts. It was a big, maybe a discrediting campaign on their part. And that's not the first time. I believe it happened when my first son died, which I call murder, because when you tell someone that someone's sick and they laugh in your face and say you're crazy, it's all in your head, and that person dies, isn't that negligent homicide? They were negligent to my first son. Okay? I believe there were people behind that somehow that made them believe that I was nuts. Which isn't fair. It wasn't fair to my son who died. He died because someone wanted to call me nuts. And that I was just hysterical. They called me hysterical. Okay? So the discrediting campaign, and I believe Karen was taking up a part of that too. Well, let's just get Dad calling her nuts. I'll act real sweet to him, like I'm all toeing the line while he sleeps. But anything she says, I'm going to make Dad think she's just crazy. It wouldn't be the first time. It especially wouldn't be the first time for it to happen to a random person. That happens to all kinds of people. They get discredited. That's part of the gang stalking. And they, coming from a branch of the Mormons, it all fits together. The Mormons also blame Indians for a bunch of murders. They're inbred liars. I've read it on the net. I'm not going to go there right now. I've got 4 seconds.